It's your cosmic sistra over here with a peek into the unseen on October 28th, 2024. And first of all, thank all of y'all for joining in the live on Adventures for Connection on YouTube. And if you haven't checked out the video from last night that I was guest starred on with Tanja and Norma Jean, please go check that out, because it's what I'm even going to be talking about right here, because we're doing everything live. We're doing everything live. In this ascension, everything did go divine. And when I say that, it's not just a gimme that it goes divine. It's like, it isn't just that there was some energy somewhere that just not attached to a human being that said, oh, this doesn't look fair, we're going to set it straight, and sends a lightning bolt. That's not how it works. That energy and these consciousness periods, even associated to the times that and what we remember and what was reported in Egyptian timelines, how we made the pyramid systems, how we knew how to do what we were doing back then, was because the air and the energy that we were in was consciousness and cosmic energy. It wasn't being held in a vacuum chamber away from your crown chakra. You're getting direct connection, not a dome on a dome on a dome on a dome with you in a bubble freaking trying to and just coursing through it, right? And so as a collective, and this is the first year in 2024, because it's been 6 years since 2017. It's been 5 years since 2018. And 2018 was perplexing to all of us that were in the Ascended Collective, because 2018, everything was running the way it should have been to bring in what you would call Christ. And it's the cosmic Christ, and it was a cosmic Christ timeline that was written to end the spell of Skull and Bones, of all of it. And everything in the collective was starting to happen and change so drastically, but it was all happening naturally. It wasn't being controlled. Then all of a sudden, July 2018, it's like that whole timeline somehow, some way just disappeared. Now, looking and seeing what others are and then in the past 30 to 60 days, what's been coming in with the collective is this whole 1988 thing. I don't know if you've heard about this. 1988 is when they're saying our reality completely somehow blew, or some will say that they put us all to sleep and reset everything. What I'm realizing is that I think what happened, because there is no time, that on those 8 counts is when we brought what you would call magic back into the realm. And this is even why so many of us had to deal with so much coven magic. They, why we were their sacrifice so many times, and this had happened so many times within our lines that we had every single Akashic library of whichever way they could try to run it. They'd already done it. So this is even where we talk about the grandfather clause and time travel, where you meet yourself, or the marriage never happened, so now you're never born, but you're the one who went and changed it. I know that the feminine collective and all of us were the ones who brought back in an orb of what you would call magic to this realm. But that what you would call magic was only us being able to hold those connections on land for the first time. And it creates an orb of transmutation energy around us. And in a lot of ways, it turns things into like a 3D printer. Or even if you think about Neo and Matrix, and where the bullet shoots out and it's traveling, and then it looks like it goes into slow motion and you just kind of move out of the way. It's that energy, because you can control elements that way, and you actually do. It happens, it slows down and you maneuver and get out of the way, but to everyone else nothing slowed down. It's just your perception that it slowed down because you're changing it. Well, that's what energy was brought back into the realm whenever we activated these new bloodline energy currents and started putting ourselves back together down here as a feminine collective that was always holding your ionosphere, your magnetosphere, your gravity. I mean, I don't know how many times I've said to these handlers, and this is going to come up because they just tried to do it again. They just tried to do it again, but it was for the last time. And I don't even know that they tried or if it's just set on reset and it's always how they did it. But what we're seeing as it's uncoiling with the sun at 5 degrees and 50 minutes of Scorpio, the beginning degrees of Scorpio, you're starting to get all your elements. You're starting to understand what to put in the soup. 12 to 16 degrees is going to be the processing. It's going to be actually you cooking it. 16 to 29, which is where Mercury is right now. So our thoughts are already seeing what was going to manifest from the spell that they were casting, and the collective has been all over it. A video yesterday popped up about Andromeda and the 2 stars that hold Andromeda, and if you spell them backwards, it's Kamala Harris. Now, what did I say on the video the other day? I said I know how Kamala Harris was made, because they used me to make her. That whole Andromeda spell was running a shadow government. It's almost like that whole Andromeda. The whole Andromeda thing started when Watergate started. Nixon is really our last president. Oh shit, so is Trump Nixon? Oh my God! I knew on this video, y'all, I just had to come on, turn it on. There's so much going on right now. There's so much uncoiling that right before we started that live video last night. Now, this is the chart right now. And I mean, look at this. What did we talk about on that video? Everything that crisscrosses in the middle, and you should be able to see how that's happening. Where are we? We're in the middle. Is like right now what's happening is the resurrection and death and rebirth, and the amount of timelines that you as a being are had to jump through where you had died before and resurrected is like happening every day. It's and this comet just flew into the sun. The sun just ate the comet. One of the girls that traveled with me and did this with me in Anaheim and then went back to Detroit, the day I couldn't sleep 2 days ago, she was up all night for 2 nights, and that's what she was having dreams. She was having dreams in different realities, and each one she was getting murdered. And then she'd wake up in another reality. She even knew in the dream that there were 6 different possible endings. And in the dream, she ends up thinking that she got shot and killed in the back of a car. But she woke up from it in the dream and said, "Okay, well that's one ending. Show me the other 5." And then she woke up. Last week here in my house, and I know we had one other starseed that I know this happened to. Now I'm down in Texas. Last week, and I've lived in Texas most of my life, we probably killed maybe 2,000 flies, and I'm not even kidding you. Like the window, we couldn't figure out where they were coming from. We couldn't figure out how they were getting in the house. We'd look up and there'd be 50 of them on the door, to where we just had to get the vacuum cleaner. And this was days. And I knew that we were literally transmuting death in the middle of a death cycle. Because Scorpio, all this stuff over here in Scorpio, and all these characters, these archetype characters that this spell used to create over here, now we've got 32 different archetypes that are going to override those 5 every step of the way, because we're running Scorpio from Eagle. Scorpio shouldn't be Scorpio. This is SCORPIO. We have changed Scorpio. The water was the problem. The swamp was the problem. The fact that we still had scorpions down here was the problem. It's almost as asinine as like where the like when we think about the dinosaur age and we're like, what the hell? How? See, now all the reports are coming out, and where they ate the princess in the pink goo. Well, I can tell you what that pink goo is. And what's the other problem we got right now? Pink cocaine. Well, what's pink? What's pink? Go look up pink. They'll tell you pink isn't a color. They'll tell you that pink is actually formed by different hues. This is why people who are colorblind, they can't see pink. Well, pink is coming from Ophiuchus too. It's coming from elementals, and then it's where it comes. Pink is first arranged at the beginning degrees of Sagittarius. Then it shows up in Arcturus. And that's it. Bright pink, that's it. There's only one other baby pink that's formed from the heart and the blood way down here in Cancer. And it's baby pink, carnation pink. Bright pink don't start until Sagittarius. You go look up pink. Well, let's just do it real quick. Let me show y'all something. See, this is the base root of Scorpio. Now, y'all aren't going to get all this at once, because this is, I'm telling you Masonry, I'm telling you Illuminati stuff on the in-between, Babylonian even. What you have to understand is what all these different words actually mean. And in fact, well, that's the first one that pops up. Why'd they name it that? Why is her name that? See, visible light. Can someone explain pink to me? Where is pink on the visible light spectrum? Is the color pink within our visible light spectrum? Is pink a real color? No. It's saying no. The physics of pink, why it isn't in the rainbow. We see pink when our eyes register a mixture of red and blue light. However, there's no wavelength corresponding to pink. You know why? Pink has its own physics. What does pink align to? Ophiuchus 2. Which is the pure consciousness of Babylonian, how everything works down here in an elemental. All of the unseen things. Then where do we see it again? We see it in Arcturus. What's that? Mixture of dark and light. So if you will, pink is the quantum realm. Pink is controllable. It's also P ink, I-N-K. It's ink. It's a pin on K. You're pinning K. You're pinning a splitter. It's like writing your name in invisible ink on an invisible paper. And it projecting to everybody, and then now your name's getting out there, but no one can really figure out how it's coming from. It's coming from like a subliminal. That's pink. There's a whole bunch of physics and manipulation from mathematics, science. I mean, and even just the base root of the words that we're programmed to call things create certain mind blocks on pure information because it's Babylonian constructed to do it. I gotta grab a pen. How are y'all doing? I gotta grab a pen. I gotta show y'all something. This is where the Masons got in a whole bunch of trouble. Okay? And this is why they're just now getting in trouble, because we just reset the root of the alphabet. We reset the root of the physics. You have to remember that it was being laid on top of. The problem, they weren't having any problem remembering what they did 10 years ago, what they did 20 years ago. They's having a problem remembering what happened 200, 400, 500, 600 years ago, billion years ago. Whenever you got to the end of days, this is why everything started with a word. When you got to the end of days, everything was programmed. Your words were programmed. Your body was programmed. The reality was programmed. This is why in 2038, in the old timeline, all the databases blew up. Because technology's not set. True technology plugged into a machine can't hold the amount of DNA data in order to keep the story changing. Just like the girl on my crew. And she is like, all right, where's my other 5 outcomes? If you're a computer and there's what, supposedly 8 billion down here, all right, well, there's a problem in and of itself because there isn't 8 billion. So you have 8 billion that every action that they have creates, let's just say 5. Let's just say it creates 5 different outcomes with every freaking decision that you make. Now multiply that times how many decisions these pretend 8 billion people have, and then give me a number and then quantify that and tell me how long that's going to hold. Well, I can tell you, it blew in 2038. This is why my crew was sent here in 1972. Now, here goes that 8 again. 2018. So the Unix box is blue. 20 years after 2018, whenever we reset everything and we stopped these from blowing in Memphis, Tennessee. Now, in order to do it, what I had to do was embody the entire Masonic Memphis, Tennessee cemetery. Hooked up to Neptune Street. The one that looks like, I mean, literally, now I know that's what I did. When I went and drove it, now it's all set up to do it under the word Fontaine. And it had to do with the fox. And then what happened? Jamie Foxx comes around. This just happened last year. And then what movie was he a clone in, and what was going on with that? Fontaine. This is the street I grew up on in Foxfire, in College Station, Texas. In German Naziville freaking science lab. Now, all of this was being programmed over here. Now, what happened here in 2018 is that 2 timelines, because we kept going, because now we broke it. Now breaking it was just part of it. They woke us up to come break it. They wanted us to break it. But then they had developed their own little channels over here in order to say they're the ones who did it. Meanwhile, they're not realizing what we had really done here. They're just keeping on with their little BS. This is even this right here is where Anne Hesh got gat. When you start understanding how the Matrix just picked her up and shot her because she went into a stellar lane. That's why her car flew. She wasn't the only one. Now, we kept developing in order to get back to how it all originally happened. Because even on my board and even on the chart, when we talk about in the middle of the chart, this area right here that it normally doesn't show in the middle. Where all your energies are connected right here in this O. Okay. Well, last night on the video, what I was explaining is you are really dying. A part of you is dying that's hooked into this machine. But what you're doing is getting rid of all your 33 connections that was running you, and you're rebirthing this connecting back into this side over here into this side over here. So it's 20 years that we're having to fill in the blanks. And this has been what the collective timelines and all this and all of us changing the collective timelines, okay? Well, forgot why I came over here and started doing this, because it starts with the word, the body, and the reality. At the end of days, all of that was tuned into you. As a collective now, and this little move, and when we did this is what started reprogramming all of the planets, because the planets just, everything had to be reprogrammed. Stars can be reprogrammed. See, this is why we always knew that we would win. It didn't matter what they did. We're gonna win, because we can program the stars. So it was like, okay, let's see how this thing's gonna end. Let's see where they're sending us. We're course correcting and mirroring it the whole time. Then wherever we see it like set, which is what's happening today. It started last night. Even that video was undoing those timelines. Me and Norma Jean didn't even talk about her illustrations. She drew those illustrations, and then it just fell perfectly into the entire video and what we were talking about. That's how connected in the consciousness we were. If you look back at that video, at the one that to the illustration, the one that says tangle, and it's wrapped around that stir stick, that's Andromeda. That's what this is. All those freaking crazy tangled up timelines out in space, da 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 da. And this is why every single freaking one, all the luminaries have a red line. Every single one of them is opposing each other right now. That's because we cut all those timelines for the next 20 years of scheduled deaths. Now, this is where this gets intense, because if you've got a twin, if you really do have a twin, which there are some of us that do have one, not necessarily a good thing either. If you do have a twin, then you even had to walk some of his deaths because the death was caused from his theft of your energy. So it's like if they would have pulled off what they did and then you died because you were sacrificed, and then whatever group got all the energy from that sacrifice, then they didn't even live very long, because then they were killed for it. So whenever the feminine and your energy is wrapped up into how they were holding everything, which I can tell you right now that a lot of y'all that are coming from Tanja and Norma Jean's group, like, realize that we all congregate together for a reason. And y'all's charts are getting more and more and more powerful as I'm breaking them open. I've got 5 in the queue right now, and it's like I'm even having to pace myself to start that 5, because I'm wanting to get them out and get them done. One of them is a couple. The next 2 that I brought in is a couple. Even the questions that have come up from the ladies who did their own coloring book, one came in today. So I have 5 planets in the 5th house, and I'm like, oh crap, well, that's children and star-crossed lovers. She's like, I have neither. I'm like, exactly, you have 5 planets in it. I said, what zodiac signs is it in? She said, Cygnus and Pisces hinge. I was like, oh my gosh, Aquarius and Pisces. Well, this is Cygnus, the angelic realm. And so if you can think of this angelic realm as like a blister that's all the ancients are backed up in here. Everything's getting projected this way into Aquarius to come through a projector, or it's being mirrored from Leo kind of at the same time. Cygnus is like where the souls are that are projecting it this direction as the one, but that bubble's bigger than this house line. So it really is that, the original Pisces split came in at Fomalhaut, and this is Archangel Gabriel. I'm getting hot. And this is the cosmic eye. And whenever we start talking about these barriers that were over you, you got a space helmet on, and then you're inside an ionosphere, and then you're inside a ship. Think about all those different negative space barriers. The distance between your face right now and the wall that you're staring at. Then the distance between your face right now and the sunset. Then the distance between your face right now and your sun sign star. All that space is what the feminine holds the power to. And all that is how we reprogrammed and were able to do what we do what you did. And this is what we've been doing. We've been walking the Vesica Pisces, right? This is like kind of like where the ancient future and the ancient past all meet together, because it was all on a 33D tuning frequency. Now the whole thing is up into a 44D frequency, because Jupiter is right now in Bellatrix. It's what we've been doing. And Jupiter is your tabernacle. Jupiter is like the beehive where all the bees live, and we're the bees. It's the beehive that then assigns it, like, you're a worker bee, you're this is what your job is, and everybody works together. That's Jupiter. Well, what I'm realizing is that in 2011, and this has to do with the 2000 shift into Y2K, because in 2000 we really did go into like a weird computer, started that whole weird computer thing, because we were not conscious. Even to build ExxonMobil, they had to use Christ and Esther. So Christ and Esther were used in the ExxonMobil negotiations, in Exxon and Mobil merging, in every single technology person that was there, their paychecks and their timesheets were signed by either Christ or Esther. Literally. That's how unconscious we were in the year 2000. Not only that, we was all working for him. We thought we were just building some cool technology. We didn't even know what the hell. We were in the base root of it. This is the year 2000, okay? 2012 is when, 12 years later, the whole thing flips. I wake up in 2000, and at the end of 2012, I'm getting murdered. I'm like, I'm losing my company. I'm getting murdered. I mean, and attacked. I mean, it's at the end of 2000. My driver's license got stolen in Miami on A1A Avenue at the Red Hotel. Like, in Thanksgiving, like 2012 is when everything went shite. And by 2013, I was in New Orleans having to deal with vampires and a man named Cain. Because the highest frequencies went to the lowest setting in 2013 for sure. What I'm seeing is that in 2011 is when they basically shifted the overall Jupiter program, and it wasn't a Bellatrixian setting. And Bellatrixian setting is, if you will, from an elite perspective of a royal Anunnaki, it's how you run the matrix on an O blood set. And it has everything to do with money, currency, and the value of currency. Thing is, you're the currency in a 33 Bellatrix setting. This is how they were able to spin everything and program everything in this alternate original reality with the word through sending you emails. They were entangling our timelines by using phonetic spells, talking to us, but sent it with intention in order to tangle us up. And on the 23rd, when I did the last of that group chart, I got an email from a JM MJ12 handler that attempted to do it again under the rouge of a sincere apology. And it did. It tangled us up. It got us kind of all confused. We even screwed up at, like, this is the one even that I had to have somebody else pull the chart. I knew somebody else had already pulled our charts. But the girl that's in this crew actually, is very ancient. She's attached to an Appalachian healer line. When they did this shift, it didn't even go into an old Beltagese code. Because Beltagese had already gone supernova. The problem was Beltagese, this red giant, blew up. And basically when it blew up, you can think of it having like a cosmic force field around it. Because space is not hollow. It's like whenever it blew, it couldn't go very far. It's like, it was like, oh, even now I'm seeing on the video when we were talking about Tanja blowing up the lavender in the baking soda, like that, just like that. It'd be like boom. So what they were building all of these Scientology based, Illuminati based mental programs. So they were programming your mind to fit in their system. At 25 degrees. because Beltagese was at 28 and then 26, really 28, 26, because it was a big one. It was the first original Neanderthal setting that most humans had. So it's like they were building. Now, what this made in the collective and in different perspectives is a sky ring. If you have any stories or knowledge, or just now realizing that you were in a sky ring, this is like, even when they say there's a big mothership that's sitting above Washington D.C. Well, no shit. I bet it's the sky ring. Because it's like in a way, that sky ring basically became this, and it's not little either. Like, if you started walking from this end to this end, it might take you 2 days to get over here, but it is all connected. And there's a specific set of beings that are right here in the middle that are even holding. This is even the base root of the 144,000. Because there's really only 100 that are connected in the middle that are holding the reality for everybody else. Everybody. 8 billion. 8 billion. There's really only 100 beings down here running 8 billion higher selves. You realize that, right? I mean, you keep going with that 100, it ends up at 1. So then there's one being that's been stuck down here through time that ended up being the ancestor of an ancestor of an ancestor of an ancestor of. Why is that so hard to believe? Whenever you're talking about Lyra, and if and remember, if you don't have any Lyra energy, that's already connected in you. Like, you're supposed to know this. So if you've got any Capricorn energy in your chart, and we're talking about Lyra, this is why you are able to do so much. Like, you really just ask your ancestors for direction, and they'll show you. That's because they're connected back into that 100. And there definitely is a timeline that your descendants walk. I can promise you that they've had to deal with some of the solutions you're looking for. Their analogy might be a wagon wheel and some dirt, but it's still the same physics when you pick up your phone. When you really start, and that's what Scorpio. So if you can even think about the transmutation of Scorpio into Eagle, let's think about it. Well, the exoskeleton, okay, it's totally opposite. Because a scorpion has an exoskeleton, and then it's all soft in the middle, and then a eagle's gonna have bones, and it's gonna have feathers. It's growing east and west, not out their ass on their IC, connected to a stinger that's gonna freaking get your butt. It has to crawl on all fours. It's so little you can't see it. It's stuck to the ground. An eagle is the highest that can fly. What I'm telling you is that Scorpio is made from masonry. That's probably why it looks like an M. I mean, I've been wondering why it looked like that. The other thing is Alt 7 came in today, and did you know Alt 7, was it called? Oh shoot! It's called this used to be the 27th letter in the alphabet. Do you know that? I didn't know that. Ampersand. It's called an ampersand. And it's only used for commerce and titles. And until 1853, it was the 20s. It came after Z. Do you know that? I didn't know that. I didn't know that until I commanded Alt 7 reverse flux on all magnetic charges today. And then I saw something streak through the sun. Holy crap. And then I had to go pull up the three girls that we've been working together the longest. I had to pull up all three of our progress charts. One of y'all ordered a progress chart to even remind me to do it. We've even emailed you back to make sure that that's the one you wanted, because it'll be the first progress chart that I do. And I don't want to bring all that information in with y'all right now, because we'll build up to that as you need to, because you need to settle into your natal first, because us doing all those charts is what caused this. Each one of y'all listening to your consciousness, and y'all come to the group, we all congregate, especially in Scorpio, because realize that a lot of your neighbors, especially if you come from a family, now this is going to really trip you out. Let me describe a little bit of Scorpio. It's all death ritual stuff and burial. It's in the dirt. We also had to cut M from W today, and the 11 that were holding M and W from the Milky Way. There were 11 that were holding a shoot from M to W that now we know ended up being MJ12. That was controlling their whole freaking mind map on the human race, and almost had us. Oh, you men almost lost your balls too. You almost lost your balls. Don't get mad at me whenever y'all figure that out. You need to go attack our masculines, please. And by the way, I give all power to go do whatever needs to be done in every realm now. We're no longer holding off anything. Realize that even the Morrigan, the Morrigan, how people are talking about the Morrigan, and even Hecate, and I mean, we brought all that back in. You're talking to her. You're talking whenever all of y'all are in it too. Like that divine feminine energy, and that, oh no, that ain't right. Each one of us standing in that power is what triggers Hecate to go do something. I mean, I am sitting here at the crossroads. How did it end up being an entity that's out there in the ethers, but there's no woman down here that you can pinpoint a career or any solidarity and respect to match it? That's the problem. All our stories were wiped and programmed in the middle and assigned out to other people, so that in your head we just exist as this divine feminine energy that comes and helps you or scares the shit out of you. Scaring the shit out of you is helping you. And if you see those energies and you're scared of them, realize they're mirroring you. And that's why they're showing up. There is no Z in the Russian alphabet. Shit, no shit. You know what the name of my dragon was? Z. What's the name of all the Russian tanks? What do they have on all the Russian tanks? Z. Russia's always had the proof. Russia had the proof. Mexico had the secret. Russia had the proof. Australia's got the surprise. And have you seen that dome that's over Australia right now, and it's got electrocution lights? Like, we're literally seeing and watching right now is all that antimatter in the realm, southern hemisphere, is leaving that 33 frequency. We're watching it happen. Like, literally, that's even the line. This is what they're seeing. They're seeing a giant cloud like this. Let me see if I can. Let me show you this. This is what's happening. This popped up today. I might have.
This is Tapu 7. We have folks inside of Australia saying that they believe they've caught what seems to be some kind of dome on camera. Others are saying it's just natural weather phenomenon. Some saying that this could be a dome put up like you see in The Simpsons or in a movie under the dome. Others say that it could be a rainbow. Now, with this, there's some weird things that happen. It looks like lightning bounces off of this dome. The clip that you've seen in the very beginning, if you go back and look at it in slower motion, it looks like lightning right here bounces off of the dome. Right there. That is rather interesting. So for those that want to say it's rainbow, it's this, it's that, can they explain why it looks like lightning is bouncing?
Ask me. It's because we made a direct connection. It's because of the charts that we opened up in Australia and all the work that the girls have been doing in Australia, a lot of them their whole lives. It's happening. It's happening right now. Even this video I'm transmuting, because what I wanted to say over here is if you come from a town and your family line's been in that town a long time, even if you didn't realize that you was from there, you thought that you had just moved there, but you end up finding out that a bunch of your family lines buried there, whatever. Okay, where your grandparents have their burial plots, and the people that are buried next to them, I guarantee, live on your street. You especially whenever end of days happened, because everything was 0 point. You didn't realize subconsciously all of us were following back the death rituals to lead. That's why you got plots. That's why in Germany and in baby boomers, like, they all immediately came here, and what did they buy? Land and plots to bury themselves in. And then you have to be buried all next to each other. And you got to make sure, Well, this is why they kept incarnating together. That's what the Mason cemeteries were. Except the Mason cemeteries, they just have a headstone that says sister or mother. Like, no name, exactly. They each one of them sacrificed one position in their family, that it was one that wasn't coming along. If it happened to be you, then you became the one over time that's holding 100 attached to everybody that is made from it from the get. How many people can one husband and wife, if they have one child, how many descendants do they have in 100 years? Scorpio. It's all about death rituals and burial, resurrection processes. And I'm starting to think that it's John in the Bible. This is also Scorpio moon is Buddha. This is also where you start realizing that the Yahshua energy and Buddha, same entity, two different things it's got a mirror. I mean, it's just that energy showing up in that area with those people and that DNA strand and how it was twined up. Theirs was all about Buddha. Theirs was all about moon mansions. Theirs was all about building in the etherics. Theirs was all about how to get involved with Scorpio. Buddha, when did he come in? Scorpio moon in May. When did he resurrect and ascend? Scorpio moon. When did he die? Scorpio moon. When did I activate? Scorpio moon. What did we have to prove the connections over Christ and Buddha? What was the first thing we had to walk? Shiva crap. Like literally realize that whenever we're talking about the Christ lineage now, like, we all got an upgrade. the Christ energy, and this is how it even becomes Christ consciousness, because it's like it's everybody. But as a ascended Essene collective, we had to go master and take down Shiva. Why? He's building CERN. They had it wrapped up on CERN. You know what? They had Hecate as the diamond on CERN. Why? Because Hecate and those divine feminine energies are the ones that are holding the most ancient death burials. One of which is Iran. And now we know it's Mars. When we're talking about the propaganda and the stories and religion, any cult, any religion, and they're all following a Scorpio database. That Eagle knows and has preview to all. When you're first coming out of death, think about it. You're just coming out of death. Like you just died. Your heart stopped. Your consciousness went somewhere else. See, I'm starting to realize even that this in the biblical stories of Jesus bringing Lazarus back to life, that was his mistake. If I go back and knowing what I know, and I know all the Gnostic texts, of course, I have all the ciphers. That's why I'm able to communicate that into technology. That's why they had me in the chamber in 1983, getting the map to Scorpio. See, what's happening right now is that the characters are changing like that, like literally. Like right now. We're doing it right now. Everybody that's watching this and that's been watching this, I just want you all to understand how freaking powerful and important each one of you are. Each one of you think, oh my God, it can't be me. It can't be me. She can't be talking to me. Oh, yes, I am. The ones of us who are the most powerful think that we're nothing. You know why? We've been one of 100 and couldn't even have an identity, and we don't even know each other from each other. Shit, we just been hunkered down trying to survive. Every war and everything in the world has been done and spun and diddled and jokered and Batmaned in order to not have us individualize. It's like each 5 of their archetypes. Now, I'm also, this is what I'm seeing. Let me give you an example of how Scorpio energy is used in politics. Kamala Harris. Andromeda energy is Kamala Harris. That makes a whole lot of sense. Even the cookhouse in Anaheim was all about Andromeda. And Andromeda held the 3 seeds in space, and it was all quantum manipulation and manufactured green screen shit. And I think Michelle Obama is Kamala Harris. It's the upgraded version. And I think that everything that's happened with the cooking of the collective was a Democrat function. When you sign up to be a Democrat voter, what you're doing in the Babylonian context is signing up to allow your lines, like a Mason cemetery, to build you a leader. And Republicans held the Republic, so they always had the connections to the seeds in the middle that were always supposed to come out at end of days. And these guys were throwing this back and forth and having a party because they didn't want black, blue, and red to end. because they wanted to control pink. Even when we talk about Watergate, we're talking about 25 degrees Gemini to like 25 degrees of Cancer, up to 25 degrees. So that's Pleiades, between Bellatrix and Betelgeuse, and Sirius C. And Sirius C was connected with all telecom towers, every single phone number, digits, call numbers, programming. And not only that, there's a whole number 44 level that they got real damn creative with that required me to have to blow the word. We had to blow the word. As far this is why whenever you come through any type of portal, everything looks pink. If you all of a sudden start seeing pink, something just blew up. As everything mixed together, something just blew. Now I've been on here almost an hour, so this is the base root of the phonetics. Because you got to remember, in a polarized reality, everything mirrors. As above, so below. Now, this is not just in nature. This is all to do with tech. So everything is a mirrored hinge. And this is really what Algorab is. And then Arcturus holds another bubble. Then Spica holds another bubble. Then Izar holds another DNA connection that locks it all in. These would be more etheric. And that etheric throws you to a new setting on Izar. And then this is where everyone's seeing these 3 dimensions form. We've been talking about it over here for a few months. One of them's going to be Sagittarius in the 1st house. One's going to be Cancer in the 1st house. And everybody else is going Libra in the 1st house. You got to balance it out. It is what it is. Universe is trying to help you. So this is what's forming right now in order to do the next couple of years flush. So that these guys have time to assimilate what's coming up here, and these guys have time to assimilate what's coming up here, because these guys are really now controlling everything, but it's not in a control system. It's in a natural, it's just all according to frequency, because we reset the whole thing. We're even in it. Those of us who created it didn't get it out. We had to jump in and freaking set it. Well, all systems on. So everything mirrors. So if I have an A, now this is when you start realizing A is 3, which is why those 3 stir sticks. Now, I want everyone to close their eyes. I want you to put an astronaut helmet on your head. Now, this may touch some of y'all and make you cry. So I'm giving you a trigger warning. And I want you to get thrown off a spaceship and thrown out into space. So you're floating in space. And all you have is your helmet. And then your oxygen runs out. You get further and further and further away. And then the helmet, you're just floating out there. There ain't nothing there. You can't hear nothing. No one can hear you. I mean, you're in pitch black. You're just floating in space. You're still breathing. How is that possible? Now I want you to realize that you're not in air. You're in space. So it whenever you're floating in it, it's not like floating up in a kite. You feel like you're in a vacuumed sponge. And whenever you breathe it in, you don't even feel like you're there anymore, because you're having to breathe in the expansion. And so it's like you can't even make a sound. Your vocal cords can't make a sound. You can't even talk to yourself. And then I want you to push as hard as you can, just any air through your lungs, to process and transmute that space through the human body. And I promise you, you're going to get a tone like this. That's how A was made. Now, it took a long time of pushing that air through our lungs and getting that. See, now come back with me. I'm pulling you out of there. You're all cleaned up. Come back. Clap your hands. Everybody clap. It's how your alphabet and Babylonian phonetics were built in this realm. It's A, then becomes C. Because if you're out there in a vacuum, you can't, it's going to take you a little bit before you can pierce your lips and go, buh, buh, buh. Because when you're in space too, like your muscles are moving around in your body, because it's like, man, you're not, it's like everything's moving on the inside of you. Like you might lose muscle control. Like you're trying to push this in it. And I mean, for all of us ancients and the ones who sacrificed, we were the ones out in space. For us in consciousness, we've been waiting for y'all to get up here. This is why C comes next. Now, and then you got to remember that it's going to mirror this direction. Now, this is even your Cossacks cable. This is that 12th through 13th. Now, why is this important? Because every single bit of Scorpio and Masonic phonetics and Babylonian technology phonetics and code and your number system and numerology, everything is based off 26 letters of an alphabet that make up A, C. Now, if I go B, now look, if I go B, now I've got to draw a line right in the middle of here. Okay, now I got B. Well, here's where I get my four. This is the clover. And B on 33 is 3. B on 44 is 2. No, it's backwards. See what I'm saying? On the 33, it's 2. It changes. B and C change. This is why we have BC timelines and BCE. They changed BC and BCE to create another BC. Basically, by flipping these currents. Literally. Then it became JK, because here we go. Here's B. Now here's our little b. Now what is that also? D. So B, D. Okay, now E. Well, there's an E. There's an E. There's an E. That's 5. There's an E. Now, it used to be 5. Now it's 23. Why? Because of 23 and me. Let's keep going. There's E. Now, where's F? Right here. There's F. Now, all this is going to mirror down here and out here. Okay, well, let's make another F. Because now we're getting bigger. Because now we're on the F. And F is 4. So now it goes out another. Now, what's that? A satellite. Okay, well, you want to see the power of the G? Watch this. And it's got a key. Then that creates an H bridge. Okay, hydrogen, helium, H2O. But watch this. It's going to go right in the middle right here. That's a new line. Okay, that's 8. Where's I? Right here. What's I? Ignition to all of it. Ignition to all of it. Now, here's where this gets nuts. So see how it's a big flower? That's the first level of the phonetics. That's A through I. And it actually goes A, C, B, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, Z. And now ampersand. And what? So realize that this is going to be the highest frequency. This is going to be the middle frequency. All these letters. Okay, well, where's money? Right there. Money. Where's monkey? Right there. Monkey. I ignites, and then this starts getting smaller. So now we need J. Okay, well, here's J. A hook. See, it looks like a fish hook. Where's K? Oh, well, watch this. Watch this. Watch this. What? Let's say I even keep it in the box, because that's really what K does, because it's going to keep going out because it's a splitter. But K is going to come and do like this. This is why Elon's so obsessed about X. And this is also what Y to K is. Let's keep going. Where's L? It's going to mirror. It's going to mirror. This is why it's Hollywood. This is why it's ill. This is why you've got a double L. What double L does is basically this. It's 277 gates. This is why they do this thing with their hands too, when they put them together and make this Illuminati symbol. That's what it is. But you know what that symbol really is? Gabriel crowning his head and taking his crown. So literally what they're doing, and then everybody goes, oh, that's an Illuminati hand signal. No, it's a hand signal the Illuminati uses in order to gank our shit. That's not what it is. This OK symbol is what they're using because they want OK. They want K. They want to ignite these X's way out here to control way out here. But I'm showing, so K, L, M. Well, you can see it. Here's M. Now, this is where it starts looking like the Darth Vader Death Star. Exactly. Now N, which is basically what we did is have to turn N to Z, and this is what we had to do. So basically Z went this direction and Z went this direction, because then realize that these are all like energy timelines, and even from N to N is cross-sectioning in it. That's why it's a change, because it's right before O. And then O is going to mirror, and see, this is where everything starts getting crazy. Then we're looking at P. Okay, well, you want to see P? Here's P. Like, what? Okay, well, then here's P over here. Now, where's Q? 7. You know why? Because it's lining up with G. Q is just G. See, that's this little guy right here on G is right here. But see, it started right here with A and the person in space. Where'd these guys come from? I'm even showing you, this is Orion's belt. Boom, boom, boom. What I just described about getting thrown out into space from three, that's there it is. Orion's belt. 3 of us in space. This is how old we are. And what's even crazier is the reason that it all even ignited and this whole story has come back in is because they're developing Microsoft Orion programming right now to keep you in these alternates, and this creates a dome where everything that's beginning on this top layer is utilized and trapped to open it up and expand it. And then they were really building the rest of the phonetics and the propaganda. This is where W came in. But M is 22 and W is 32. But literally, that is the Milky Way. And this is Babylonian. This is the Babylonian constructs. This is also Telestai, which is what I was here to break. And this is why I know all this. Because all this that I'm showing you is Bellatrixian stuff. Because Bellatrix was always formed from 44 coding. It was the manipulation of the 44 coding into their 33D setting that set up 33-degree Masons. And those 33-degree Masons, all their whole entire whatever, all the stuff they were doing was only to control us from elevating out of Gemini, so that they could control it from Sagittarius, which is where Venus is right now. And this is why all of this is lining up and it's breaking open. And every single sign that I have seen, it is all about our children. And I mean down every line. And since the beginning. And our star-crossed lovers. Because it's that string theory held. We proved string theory the past 7 years coming through all this, because that whole thing with space and getting thrown out there a gazillion years ago in order to breathe and start making A, guess what? They sent me out there again to start over. And guess what? We did. And guess what happened? It blew the cosmos. It blew space-time. Everything fell in on itself. We crashed the system. When that crashes, there is a construct to hold it. That's just, it's gonna, and it's just as subtle as the AI one that they had laid over us. But it's gonna come through in a different way. It's your reality showing you. This is what's cool about it, because if you're used to reading tarot and reading into things, just realize that your entire world right now, everything that happens, even you being on this video with me right now and not going to the store. Somebody put off going to the store to listen to the end of this. And there's a reason. Because it's that subtle. And now we've resurrected through the whole thing, okay? And but as far as the DNA lines, a lot of y'all are just now getting broke from it, because why? We finished the spell 4 days ahead, and what's this spell set for? The 31st. Drop the mic. Drop the mic. We just unsammed Hines. We just unsammed Hein. Like, that death energy blown wide open. It's Halloween. See, I started realizing in 2000, like, if you're one of us and you're conscious or you're self aware and you didn't realize you were self aware, whatever you dressed up for in Halloween, I want you to think back to the next year of your life and how your life probably somehow took on a characteristic of the character that you dressed up as. It's trippy. Like literally in this new energy, we just need to walk around with signs of what our new name is and be like, what are you? I'm Chastia. Create me. Who are you? I'm myself. Can you make me myself again? Like this is literally how us ascended should be utilizing this energy, knowing what we know now, because that energy was all just trapped in a vacuum, backed up, and was being utilized. It's sucked from us. It's our feminine energy that they were using in order to lights out people with Hecate Crossroads energy. Well, shit, we're all legal now. We're all legal now. Like the politicians, especially like Hillary Clinton and the Clintons and all that, like they were wanting to bring us back, thinking that we were going to come terrorize the neighborhood because it's what we always did before. When that feminine energy comes out, you can't help be pissed off. I had to yell and scream for 3 years. It was necessary in my process of healing. And if you got it for any reason, there's a reason, because I was trying to help you. Like if you brought it out of me, oh shit, I'm there to warn you when it's coming out. And that's every single one of you. Whenever you realize you've been in a hole for a long time and you fucking wake up and nobody even knew you. Not only did they not know you were dead, they knew you weren't dead, and they purposely kept you down there and didn't fucking care. This is back to like the original shit too. Like the original vampire getting shafted with the weird knife that put him down for 300 years. And then you wake up and you're like, oh, motherfucker, brother got me. What year is it? It's 2000. What the fuck? I've been under since 1700? That fucking asshole. But I mean, it's that type of energy. Like it's a whole perception shift on your reality, and it takes a minute, but you do shift up into that energy to where you're like, oh, that motherfucker, I'm gonna get him. Well, who's that? Joker and Harley Quinn. Same energy. It's why it's here, because it's what happened. Everybody that was connected into us by death is going to feel that energetic whenever it gets triggered. It's why we have now learned not to react, because we also realized, and this is even the brotherhood side, realized the only way that they were getting power is us screaming at each other. So we can secretly hate each other with our minds and think we can get away with it. The problem was, in this energy, you couldn't even do that. The masculine, his thoughts were manifesting in our reality. He didn't even have to say it. He didn't even have to do it. He didn't even have to know he's connected to you. It was backlashing in our world, just even with our thoughts, especially in the starseed, the hybridized versions of us. Holy crap. So that's what we all, from a higher consciousness, just stopped fighting. But it didn't mean that there wasn't still some shit going down. It's kind of like the war of the gods. It's like, okay, it's like getting in trouble. And not only that, it's like on our karmic debt, as we were blowing shit up down here, they were trying to hook that karma into us and make us pay like Matrix, almost like the Avengers, you know, getting in trouble for stopping the alien invasion, but they took out New York. And the AI and basically this Saudi Arabia fucking bullshit that they had in the tech. I mean, because I had to fight 200 cases off of us in the etherics. I mean, they literally planned on framing us for doing it. But the only reason we were doing it is because we were trapped in a solar ascension gate, and this is to the magnitude that it had to blow out. And no, you can't blame that on us. We already took on your karma. And they were like, okay, prove it. I was like, all right, we'll go back to the 12 apostles. We didn't wash your feet this time. Suck it up, Buttercup. And sit down. Like I said, the only mistake he made was resurrecting Lazarus. Because then that brought in necrophilia. And then necrophilia became the demise of his sister. This is why in the story Yahshua kicked in the temples, and he saw people trading in the temples, and he went berserk because we were building the new body. Now you just made everybody pay for it. So now you understand why cemetery people were selling plots, selling body parts. You can't even trust your funeral home. That's why hands were $800. They were looking for certain ones of us just to get our fingerprints, because what you did was put a price on it. And then you want to call it the devil, and then you want to blame it on us? No, that's not how it went down. To an extent, this is even how the sister became Mars, because Yahshua, you know, I was Sarah Damaris. I'm the pre-Merovingian. I'm the one you didn't know about because I was made from nothing but pure spirit and faith. Because I was never allowed to birth. But Sarah Damar is. And if we go back and see, like, Mars is right here, the sun is right here, and Venus is right here, and then Maldek was right here. Okay? And these two were the twins, and so Mars was, and the sun is the portal. So Mars was like, and this is also why you're finding skeletons on Mars. Well, it's literally where they had our feminine body freaking running. I mean, in a lot of ways, well, here's L. This is all that Superman stuff, and L, and like this would even be like the Anunnaki, and like Watergate was like shooting in the Watergate built up right here, and then ended up mirroring way down here, and that's what made Antares. But when we fell out, it was three of us, boom, 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 that fell out. Now I'm realizing that was Moon, Pluto, and Saturn that fell out. And that created the frequency of the mind, which then created Spica. Because this was such a high frequency, then it created Antares. But literally, remember going back to space and pulling all that space in through your body? It changed space into a body. Remember I said, how is it that we weren't dying? How is it that we were staying alive out there? Like, it really blows my mind. It really does. Like, the things in the etherics that I've done, I mean, and you know, jumping back into the realm through a volcano, like, I know that I did that. But it looked like a massive lava blowing out in space. Like, and I was basically called up there to handle it. So it's like I all of a sudden, I mean, I was in Dublin, Ohio. I was just sitting on a bed at a hotel. And all of a sudden, I go into this complete fucking, my higher self takes over my body in the 3D. We immediately go up into some type of spacecraft. There's a pilot and the co pilot. I somehow come through the window and I sit in between them. And it happened so fast that I was like, wait, where am I? What am I doing? And I look over and I'm like, okay, we're in space, we're flying a plane. And then I said, why am I here? And then I look up and to my right, I mean, it was an explosion. It's red lava, it's massive, it's blowing everywhere in space. And I was like, holy shit. So I put up my hand and I started contracting it. And I thought we was going to keep flying, but no, I contracted it and then we lined up with it and I jumped back in that motherfucker. I said, bye. And this is even Sun Diving Comet. Like, I can move all around this motherfucker. It's nuts. It's just it's literally different. It's different frequency settings. Now that was all 0 point. I don't, with Christ consciousness, with the energy of all of us connected down here, I don't have to go do that anymore. If I do, I'm doing it with all of you. Then all of you are seeing different pieces of it and doing different pieces of it this time. And I might just find out about it. But you know what I mean? Because I'm not having to do it for it. But that's why I could in that 0 point. Because I didn't have a body. I was running around here without a body. They had taken me out of the matrix. They had scrubbed my name. I'm still fighting for my identity over here. Because that's what they did. They blackballed the feminine from the matrix. And then they just want to say, we're your brain. And knowledge is free. No, it's not. It's even the good and bad of this whole AI thing. There's good things that we can use it for in this period of time, and then the rest of it is the world backing up their brain onto a computer, and when that ends, they're going to be devastated. But they'll be shown not to ever do it again. Don't allow the internet to run your life and your consciousness. If the internet gets unplugged, what are you going to do? Don't give AI the credit for planning your life when all AI is doing is running your screen and etheric layers and doing the same thing that a healer could come and tell you, but we're not going to plan it out either. That's that Mars energy too. I mean, I've known in another realm for a while, and it was basically from the Irish in the O negative that in their world, Elon Musk is my twin. No shit. Like he's even using the color codes for training at Tesla. They just don't go past Libra. They don't use any of these higher house codes. They control that. They use all these to control everybody, but everything's literally color coded. And it's complete freaking opposite from everything that I am. Like, but when and see in this Scorpio energy, it's also where we used all the ancient knowledge. And so when we started using the Isis energy to combat these other layers, then what Isis had the ability to do within the feminine energy is change the current. So, and this is also, so Isis, and this is why it's Isis. Remember, if we go back right here, see, look, S, S, and see, it controls this right here. And so Isis basically became Iris. And we went, and that's what the feminine energy did. We came right. We went A R I S, like that. But we were moving it through the different currents, and like this would be in Egypt. I mean, you can really even think of these as sedation layers, because these are going to be the first letters that are ever in recorded history. And then this is the periods of time that built up to the 9th step, and then the 10th step, and then the 11th, because for the longest time there were only 8. For a while there were only 6, like, because the human race wasn't even getting past 6. Like, it took a while to get to 8, and then everybody sat down, and then the I and the R, this is where the karma started setting in. That's why I and R are karma. But this is an ignition, and this is a motor, because see, everything was set, and the I and R are powering it, turning it on. But they're the hinges between the dimensions. This is why Christ is our I. There's specific C H R, no, C H R I S T I. That's why if your name starts with a K, that's fine, but I'd change it to a C. I would. This is why I'm Chastia now. It's the pure route. It's CHASTIA. See, I'm bringing it back to 1 instead of just in this key. But and you become whatever your name is. I'm gonna do one more thing and then I'm gonna hang up. I just needed to get on here and give y'all, like, a lot is happening right now. Because we pulled the keys on Kamala, we pulled keys on Andromeda, we pulled the keys even, I mean, I don't even know what's fixing to happen to these candidates or whatever the hell. Like, whatever happens, I mean, I'll say it right here and I'll state it on the record. I was forced to send $250 to somebody on the day that he got shot at. But I also sent out a video and enacted Leo that day and took over the body consciousness in order to get him to move his head. I didn't pay for nobody to shoot at Trump. I don't know who did, but I told them that night that now that's what they're involved in. Like the way they were hiding screens and energetics and keeping us hidden, because it's real easy to do if you're at complete 0 point and you can, I mean, sure, especially after you hit self-aware, which all of you will end up becoming self-aware. But there's some of us that have been having to master that in order to even turn it on for the world. Otherwise, everything would be in complete chaos. It is finished. Exactly. Cannot run script. Thank you. John 1928. It's like 5 beings having to become 32 all at once in order to satisfy the deities that were promised. Is what it is. After this, Jesus, knowing that all was now finished, said, to fulfill the scripture, I thirst. So I'm saying it. I thirst. It's 3:23. I just watched it turn 324. 323 is the divine masculine codes. Those are moon codes. 232 is the sun. We're in a crescent moon right now, and I command I thirst. And we all did it together. Oh, Sherpa burp. Holy crap. That vibrated my throat. It is done. And none shall ever be sacrificed again. And so it is, and so it be, and so it not see. And I cut all cables to C from mechanics and machine. I cut all C from mechanics of machine. I cut all C from mechanics of C.